Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I am your host, Marissa, and I'm here with my co-host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Thursday, everybody. We are officially at the halfway mark for June. Wow.
Wow.
We're halfway through the year, too, technically, if you think about it, because we're 6 months through. That is freaking crazy. Like, slow down.
For real.
For fucking real. Like, oh my god. But nonetheless, I hope everybody is having a very good week thus far. My week has been a little stressful, but you know what? It's Thursday. The weekend's almost here, so we're gonna make it, kids.
Uh,
How are you doing, Daisha? How's your week going?
Going good so far. Had the infusion, the other day.
Taking it like a man, taking it like a champ.
Wow.
No, it's a good thing. Take it as a compliment, my dude. God damn.
uh, but it's like I'm here. I'm alive,
Then
reviving. Yeah.
reviving. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us tonight. The episode. So, the time has come to rank every single Def Leppard album. And when I say every single one, I mean all 12 of the studio albums, as we had finished our pilgrimage back in May, right in the middle of May. It's been almost a whole month since we finished the Def Leppard pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
It,
bonkers.
Freaking bonkers.
Oh my god. Just last week, a week ago today, we did our top 15 Def Leppard songs. So if you guys would like to go ahead and take a listen to that, be sure to go do that. Because it'll probably make more sense with how we rank the albums. It'll kind of reflect upon that. So please go take a listen to that before listening to this episode, if you'd like to, of course. So when we rank albums, we always start with our worst and we work our way up to the best. Um, you guys should know how this works now because we've done how many we've done. This is our fourth pilgrimage that we're covering, and right now we're working on our fifth. We're doing the Foo Fighters one as we speak. So this is our fourth album ranking episode we've done.
Mm-hmm. So, if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, so we've done ACDC. That one took forever.
Well, yeah, that was 3-parter, but
Yeah, we literally broke that up into 3 parts because there are 17 albums. We had to do that. I was thinking about doing it for this one too, since there's 12, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go through it all in one run. We just did 15 Def Leppard songs. Of course, we can do 12 Def Leppard albums. There's no way we cannot, you know?
yeah. Plus, it would make more sense if we did it all in one, because then if we did it 2-parter, it's like, okay, like you have to wait a whole nother week for
Yeah,
the
or a
second
whole
part.
nother.
Yeah, so.
And our last one we did was Blink 182. They have 9 albums, so that definitely did not take long. And Billy Talent only had 6, so that was simple. So this one's kind of right in the middle for us. It's 12 albums. I'm really curious to hear what your ranking looks like. So I don't want to wait any longer. So let's get into this.
All right.
All right, let's start at the very bottom at number 12. So what was your least favorite album?
Slang.
Slang. Same
Moving
here.
on.
No, we're gonna talk about it. So, Slang, which was the album that came out back in '96, this was an album where Def Leppard tried to change their sound a little, kind of fit in, so to speak, with the grunge era, because at this time grunge was huge. It was like blowing up like crazy in the '90s, and by the mid '90s, it kind of reached its peak. Def Leppard was kind of falling off the charts at this time, and that's kind of what happened with Slang. It did not really do too well in the charts. A lot of Def Leppard fans kind of turned away after hearing Slang because they're like, "Oh, what happened to the old sound? Like, I don't like this." It's like, and we didn't like it either, to be honest.
Yeah, it was like the first song we were just like, oh god.
God, yeah, but it doesn't turn away the fact that there were some good songs here.
Mm-hmm. Like, Blood Runs Cold was a good one.
Yeah. So I was gonna do what we did with the last album rankings. Basically, ask like, what is your standout song from this album? So I'm gonna say yours was "Blood Runs Cold."
Yeah, that took me by surprise.
Yeah, that one. And my personal favorite is it's a very bittersweet song. I love it. It's just it has a different vibe to it, like slang does in general. But like that song in general, I can kind of vibe with. Like it's
Yeah, I can see that.
so moving right along. What is the next album you have for number 11?
Okay, so I went with X.
Me too.
Okay, kind of figured.
I kind of figured we'd have like the same bottom two, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Hmm.
X, once again, this album came out in 2002. This is another album where they tried to change their sound, but this time towards like the pop genre. They kind of become like a pop rock kind of thing, which I can say this, I do prefer it over slang, but not by very much. Like once again, there are a few good tracks on that.
Yeah,
Now, my least favorite track of all time is on that album,
Gravity.
and it's called Gravity. Like when I heard it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like I don't like this. I'm like, oh no.
Hmm. It like we keep saying this with like some certain albums and stuff. Like I guess some songs that should not just be on there at all, like Gravity should be one of them. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's not like one bad apple will ruin the whole bunch. It's just it's at least it's better than Slank. Let's just say
By a
that.
hair. Hair. Um, my most notable track is probably Scar, which is the closing track. I really took a like to that one.
Yeah. Mine's long way to go, obviously.
Of fucking course.
Hey, I like that song, okay? Leave me
I know
be.
you do. Every time I hear, I'm like, oh, there's Dystro's song. Same thing with When Love and Hate Collide. I'm like, oh, there's Dystro's song.
Love and collide.
All right, number 10. So I'm gonna go first. My number 10 was actually the 2006. Yeah.
Mine too.
Okay, so we kind of had the same feelings for this one as well, which is good. So yeah, once again came out in '06. This was a cover album. So what I mean by that, all these songs, they're not originals by Def Leppard. They did not write them themselves. They covered songs by other bands or artists that really influenced them along the way, such as Mott the Hoople. I think Elton John was in there.
Hmm.
I'm gonna assume David Bowie. T Rex
Yes.
was in there. Literally, fucking love the T Rex cover they did. And
Hmm.
there was a couple other ones in there too that they did, and it's not bad. It's just like it really depends on if you're more for cover songs. It depends. If I know the group, then yeah, I might like the cover. But in this case, I didn't know a lot of these groups.
Yeah, it was same for me. Like I knew the T Rex one because
Yes.
I've heard the original. Um, but it's like some of these were hit or miss,
Yeah.
but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a bad album. It was just some songs are like, okay, could have not been actually covered. Could have been just preferred with the
B
original.
sides. It could have been B sides.
Yeah. So
It also, like I said, it really depends on if you're one for a cover album. Like, do you want to hear covers?
mm,
Like I said, it really depends for me. But another little track here is 20th Century Boy. I mean, like, that's like the go to 20th Century Boy.
20th century
Century
boy.
Boy. Oh, man. All right, number 9. I'll let you go first.
Number 9. I went with On Through the Night.
Ow. Wow. Okay. Wow. I went with self titled.
Mm, mm.
So we finally fucking differ. Congratulations. I don't hate you completely, but all right,
You still kind of.
let's hear what you have to say about On to the Night. I will get to it when I get to it. But let's hear what you have to say.
So how should I put it politely? Like, also, if you hear some rumbling in the background now, it's just because it's thundering outside. So.
I'm getting that tomorrow.
Ooh. uh, but it wasn't a bad album. It was not a bad album. I think it should have been like the self-titled album, because like it was in a tough spot to be on their first, like their debut kind of album, because it's like you think, oh, like, On Through the Night, it's like it'd be like, an album to like down the road or something, not debut. You should have, if it's debut, it should be their self-titled album, not many years down the road.
Yeah. I mean, Blink did the same thing though. Like they didn't do a self-titled album till like their fourth or fifth album.
Yeah. So, and then some of the songs, like, yeah, they were kind of like hit or
Hit or miss.
miss. That's why I kind of like put it down a little bit.
That's okay. That's completely understandable.
But that's just my reasoning. But
for context, everybody, this album came out in 1980. This was their debut album. Once again, I'll discuss my feelings for it when we get to it on my list. So for my number 9, I put self-titled from 2015. This album, man, like it's kind of one of the weaker ones, to be honest. Like I had a lot of hope for this one because like I hadn't heard any of the new Def Leppard stuff at all. Like not even when I was a kid, I hadn't heard any of the Def Leppard stuff that was new. I was so used to the old stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious to see how this sounds. There were some songs that were really, really good. But for the most part, I felt like most of it was kind of mellow.
yeah, I had the exact same thought process too.
My favorite track from self-titled has to be Man Enough. Like I fucking
Are
love
you
that
man
song.
enough?
Now, what's your favorite track from On Through the Night?
Oh God.
I can start rattling them off.
What was it? Oh God. Yeah, go ahead.
There's Rock Brigade.
Rock Brigade.
There's
That's what it is.
Jeez, they only do one song, Keith.
Hey, that's saying something.
Jeez. All right, number 8. I did songs from the Sparkle Lounge.
I did self-titled.
Okay, so kind of on the same page with self-titled. So let's hear what you have to say about self-titled.
I mean, I think you probably just nailed it on the head too. Like it was kind of like hit or miss and stuff, but like it was not too far down the list. It's not like, like a slang per se, but like some of the songs, like it could be like, it was like more mellow, like you said. It wasn't like I don't know, like from like when we think like more mellow, it's like, like kind of like Pink Floyd or something. Like that's kind of like mellow.
Mellow. That is very mellow.
That's very mellow. Like, but this one was just like,
It's like, eh.
Did Pink Floyd influence some of your songs here, fellas?
They probably did.
Probably.
I've actually heard Joe talk about Pink Floyd. He's hoping that Def Leppard will be up there with the Floyds and the Beatles and the Who and stuff like that, because those are like big influential bands from like the 60s and 70s and stuff. So that's kind of what he was hoping would happen. I think they've done just that, to be honest. They're up there with AC/DC and stuff like that. Absolutely. So what's your favorite track from Self-Titled?
I would say Man Enough, because it's just so groovy.
A close second for me is Let's Go.
Mm-hmm. That's
Let's
a good one.
Go. All right, so my number 8 was Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. This album was the last one that we ended on when it came to our studio album run. I'm going to mention 2 more albums at the very end of this episode. I just want to talk about them very briefly because we did actually kind of listen to them. One we listened to in full, and then one I listened to on my own, and I'm not sure if Dystro did too.
Nope.
It's okay. We did listen to some of the stuff together, though, from that. but I will get to that at the very end. So Songs from the Sparkle Lounge came out in '08. We ended our studio album run on this album in particular. This album for me was actually pretty good. Like, there were a couple songs that were a little iffy, like it shouldn't have been on there or it could have been a B-side. But man, what an album, to be honest. Like, you had fucking Tim McGraw on that album on Nine Lives. Like,
You can't
wow.
get away from him. We
We
can't.
really can't. Like, he was in a fucking Nelly song from like what, '03? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
Uh,
My favorite song from Songs from the Sparkle Lounge has to be Bad Actress.
yeah. That or
I like
Cruise
Come On, Come
Control.
On. Oh, I forgot to listen to that song. Shit. I meant to
That's a
listen
good.
to it
That's a
last
good
night.
one. It's a
I
good one.
like I like Come On, Come On because I've known that one for like ever.
Come on, come on.
Alright, number 7. What you got?
I got Songs from the Sparkle Lounge.
Okay, I put On Through the Night.
Okay.
So what's your take on Songs from Sparkle Lounge?
Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. It surprised me, to be honest with you.
That's good.
Because like not a lot of people were saying like good things about it. Like it was kind of like mixed.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? It's like it's the final album. Well, technically, but it was the final studio album that we were listening to, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in with the low expectations, not think of anything high or low, whatever have you. I just middle ground, low expectations. It blew my expectations. Um, but some songs like hit or miss could have been without, put on B sides, whatever have you. Like some from top to bottom, like they were kind of it was pretty solid album. Like maybe like one or two tracks should have, like you said, should not have been on there, but
Yeah,
all the rest of them they were pretty good. I liked them.
they were. It was pretty good. So I'm assuming Bad Actress is your favorite, or do you have another one?
I think Cruise Control is probably mine.
Hey, that's cool. Okay, so my number 7 is On to the Night. Once again, debut album. Dystro. But in my case, I actually kind of liked it. Like, I kind of liked how it sounded for their debut album. You got to think, a debut album it's supposed to showcase what you have to bring to the table. And since that debut album, they kind of stepped it up a bit with the follow-up album with High and Dry in '81. And of course, Mutt Lange hopped on board at this point. So props to him, by the way. One of the best producers of all time. I don't care what anybody says. One of the best. He's worked with AC/DC, Def Leppard, Bryan Adams. Like, you fucking name it, he's worked with them. But yeah, On Through the Night. I think I have like 2 favorite tracks. I've got When the Walls Came Tumbling Down, and then I like Hello America. I love Hello America. It's one of my favorites. All right, number 6. What do you got?
I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, so my number 6 is one of their most recent albums from 2022, Diamond Star Halos.
Mine is as well.
Hey, cool. This is gonna be easy. Man, I loved this album. I really did. Like, it was a bit of a step up from Self-Titled from 2015. And the thing is, I actually remember like them releasing the singles for it before the album came out. Like, they released Kick, they released Take What You Want, and they released Fire It Up. And they did music videos for all 3. And let me tell you, I really loved Kick when it came out. I heard it on Sirius XM last year, and I'm like, Dystro, Def Leppard's releasing new music. And at this point, I was kind of like a calmed down Def Leppard fan. Like, I was kind of like, I wasn't in my zone with them yet. I wasn't back in my zone with them yet. So I was like, oh my God, they're actually still making music. I was like fucking amazed. And I listened to Kick. I'm like, wow, this is good. And the album came out last year on May 27th. And I heard nothing but good stuff about it from everybody. Like, from everywhere I looked, everywhere I turned, I was hearing or seeing good stuff about this album. So I knew we were in for something good. It's just I didn't know how good.
Right. It's like I said
What about
with
you?
it's like I said with Songs from the Sparkle Lounge. Like it blew my expectations, to be honest with you.
It was so fucking good. And I bought this album at Walmart. I literally just randomly found it at Walmart about a month and a half ago. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this, and we hadn't even listened to it yet at that point. I think we were
Yeah.
at the halfway point for the pilgrimage. Like, I'm gonna pick this up. I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did. I don't regret it, and I can say I have it. Big flex. Uh,
hmm hmm
man, I think I have two favorite tracks here. Now, with this album, they did a collaboration with Alison Krauss or something like that. I can never pronounce her last name. She's actually a country singer.
Klaus. Yeah.
Krauss,
Or
yes.
Kraus. Yeah.
They did two songs. They did This Guitar and they did Lifeless. I prefer Lifeless. Lifeless is probably one of my favorites. It has that country twang to it though, but I like it. It works.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say so.
What's your favorite? What'd you like?
I liked Kick. I liked Lifeless. Um. God, there's so many.
I think Open Your Eyes was a really good one too.
Yeah. Open Your Eyes was good. Um. Like it's like we say on the pod, banger after banger after.
It was good. It was very good. Give Me a Kiss. That rocks. Even though it's like what? I think that's what it says on the album, but it doesn't say it on Spotify. That's weird.
Yeah. Damn you, Spotify.
So, have you established a song?
I'm probably gonna go with Kick because that was
Okay.
like the one that you showed me, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll listen to it and stuff. And I was like, oh, I was like, this is Def Leppard. I was like, oh my god, they're so old.
Oh my god.
That's like
Stop.
that was my first initial thought. Then I was like, oh yeah, I was like, wow, I was like, that's crazy because like I mean like when we get on later on the list and stuff, it's like I had listened to like their mainstream stuff, like big hit stuff, because I knew like what they sounded like back then. I didn't know what they would sound like now.
That's what I said too. Like, I didn't know. I haven't heard anything from like '08 and up at that point. Actually,
hmm
'06 and up, technically.
Yeah,
Um, because I forgot to count yeah and that. So, I was hoping it was going to be better than self titled, and it definitely was. And I'm very happy to say that.
yeah,
It just proves that it doesn't matter how old you are, how long your band has been around, you can still kick ass. You can still make music and sell out shows and stadium tours all over the world. And they have been doing that. Like, they're actually, I think they're on their Europe leg right now, the tour.
hmm
Like, they're like across the country right now, and they're selling out fucking stadium tours all over the place with Motley Crue and Poison. Like, that's fucking awesome, bro. Like, they're still doing that. And they're in their 60s.
hmm
Wow. All right, top five. Top five time. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna let you go first. What's your number five?
I put Euphoria.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
I put High and Dry.
Okay. Hmm.
I'm gonna let you go first. So, what did you think about Euphoria?
Like I said, like I had no expectations, but I had low expectations because I didn't go into it with like, okay, like this is gonna be the best album ever or anything. I just level playing field on all of these albums, like, well, except for Slang, but on all of these albums, level playing field. Some, like okay, I was like, okay, could have been better, but then some of the like, I was like, okay, it exceeded my expectations, which is a good thing. Like, if Euphoria, like it exceeded my expectations. I'll give it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a really good album from top to bottom for me.
I'll talk about it. Like, I'll do my spiel when I get to it
My
on
spiel.
my list. Um, this album came out in 1999, so this is like supposed to be kind of like a '90s album still,
Ah,
technically.
yeah, technically.
So, what was your most notable track here? I wait. Let me guess. Paper Sun.
Yeah. Of course it is.
I'm fucking glad you loved that because Paper Sun is a song I've known for a very long time since I was a kid because I have it on one of my other um, compilation discs that I have of Def Leppard. So it's been one of my favorites for a very long time, and I'm glad you liked it. Um, All right, so number 5, High and Dry from 1981. I just briefly mentioned this. It's a follow-up album from the debut album. Mutt Lange hopped on board shortly after this. Man, what a good album! This was the album we started with, actually.
Which, I mean, that's a good album to start out on anyway.
We started hot. Like, all these songs were
Guns
fucking
blazing.
bangers. Like, they were fucking good. Oh man, this sucks. Cause now I have to struggle to pick a favorite. Well,
I think
my favorite for High and Dry is gonna be Lady Strange.
okay.
Cause that song, I never hear anybody talk about it. It's so fucking good, and like I like compare myself to it. Like it's just I am the embodiment of Lady Strange.
Lady Strange, yeah.
Okay, that was pretty simple. All right, number 4. What did you have?
I put High and Dry.
So we kind of flip flopped. I have
Yeah, we
Euphoria.
flip-flopped. It's okay. I think Mutt Lange. Like we've talked about Mutt Lange before. Like he's like one of those producers that when when you put him on board on something, it's like he'll give you your bang for your buck sort of deal. Like
Yes.
he will make sure that that production is top notch.
Even though he'll make you do it again, do it again, do it again.
Do
Like
it
he
again.
will literally make you replay something that you just did again and again and again. Like that's literally what Joe Elliott says. Like do it again, do it again. Like that's what Mutt Lange was telling him to do. And he said sometimes at times it's frustrating, but in the end, look at the outcome with the albums he produced.
Mm-hmm. It's like I said, like it was the first album that we both listened to. And I was like, okay, it's like it's a hot start for our pilgrimage.
Hell yeah.
It's a hot start, and it's like, okay, I didn't want to put it too high, but I didn't want to put it too low because I was like, okay, it's the first album. It's like you don't want to, like I said, like you don't want to put it in the middle or something. And like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it at 4. I was like, maybe it will change here and then or something like that. It has not changed.
Just out of your luck. Originally, I had it at number 3.
Oh wow.
But a couple albums changed that, so I had to move it.
Uh-huh.
But so what was your favorite track from High and Dry?
I would say, is it Heartbreak or Heartache?
Bringing on the Heartbreak.
Heartbreak. Then it goes into Switch 625. Like,
Oh man,
that's a good transition too.
That is a good transition. Oh my god. So my number 4 was Euphoria. So yes, we did flip flop on this one, which is fine. Man, I fucking loved Euphoria. Like that was the album. Like I always try to pick 1 or 2 albums that I'm most curious to hear. This was one. This was the only one I was super curious to hear out of every single one because I have heard a lot of good things about it, and it's supposed to be their quote unquote comeback album from the dreaded Slang, and it definitely was. They went back to their original sound, added a little bit of a twist to it with some songs, like All Night. That song had to grow on me, and man, did it ever grow on me. If you listen to that song, be careful. You're gonna hear fucking 3 minutes of Joe just. No, stop. Not on the show. Yeah, but yeah, Euphoria was really good. It definitely had the sense of a 90s album. Like it had that sound to it, and it just felt like Def Leppard was back. And it just had a really overall good feeling about it. I really love this album. I'm actually due to re-listen to it on my own. That's how much I really like it. And I just want to like go over a couple songs that I kind of maybe didn't like focus in on when we listened to it the first time. That's usually what I do when I go back and replay albums that we listened to together. I'll go back and focus on songs that I don't remember as much and see like, okay, do I like it? Do I not? So for me, my favorite track from Euphoria was 21st Century, Shala Girl.
Yeah, I kind of figured that would be your favorite because I was like, because you always quote something from that, or it was either that or Paper Sun. But
yeah.
All right.
Boy. Final 3. Oh boy. Well, fuck.
It's the final countdown.
Well, I could definitely say our final three, we have like the same albums in mind. Just wondering, where did we put them?
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I'm gonna let you go first. What is your number three?
Number 3. I went with Hysteria.
Oh.
You keep saying that. Oh.
I went with Pyromania, and I feel like people are gonna throw stones at me right now because everybody loves Pyromania.
Okay. I'll let you plead your case for Pyromania.
Okay. Pyromania, album from 1983. Literally the one of the biggest albums next to Hysteria Def Leppard has ever done. This was their first album they did without Pete Willis because they fired him for his drinking problem, and they brought Phil Collin over from the band Girl. This album was perfect from top to bottom, from start to finish. And honestly, all three of my albums in the top three are perfect from start to finish, top to bottom. No skips needed. I'm telling you right now, like, it was hard. I'm going to tell you right now, it was very hard to rank my top three. And I had to put Pyromania there just because of replay value in this case. As of lately, I have been playing a lot of the other two albums in the last month since we finished the pilgrimage. Pyromania, I love going back to it though once in a while. Like when I haven't heard a song from Pyromania in a while, like I love to hear it. My only flaw here is there's one song that I hear too much now, and it's fucking Photograph.
Yeah, I can see why. I can see why.
I hear it in fucking GTA. I hear it on the radio in real life. I hear it on my fucking Spotify playlist when I hit shuffle. It's like that's what kind of knocked it down for me a little bit. Like I barely hear stuff from these other two albums that I'm going to talk about. So yeah, but I love Pyromania. It's fucking amazing from top to bottom. It really put Def Leppard on the map and shot them to stardom thanks to Mutt Lang.
For sure. So, my case for Hysteria. Okay. So, like you said, top 3 was hard enough as is. Because like our top 3 is like in the exact same ballpark, but like some were switch. But my case for Hysteria was like there's some songs that I do hear a lot, but it's only just I think it was just like one of them, and it was Hysteria. But that doesn't make like that doesn't like knock it down for me like that. It's because like I just don't hear a lot of the other songs on that album a lot. Like Hysteria and Animal, like I hear those like daily. Like oh my god.
I love
it's
Animal.
like every like it like
every 5 minutes or something like that. Okay,
yeah, it's a Hysteria from Def Leppard. I'm like, oh, okay. Then like like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, it's Animal from Hysteria or from the Hysteria album. It's like, oh, okay. And then maybe not even maybe 3-5 minutes later, oh, okay, it's a Hysteria again. I'm like, I just listened to it. Like I just did it. So that's what's got that going for it. But some of the other songs I have not listened to that much. But it's just because don't I don't have the time to listen to it that much because my Spotify playlist is it's so fucking big. Like it's over 100 hours worth of music. Like come on.
For a long time, when I started my ranking, when we were halfway through. For the longest time, Pyromania was at number one. But one fucking album kind of changed it. The only reason why Hysteria like is not at number 3 for me is just because like of replay value in my case, and it's rare when I talk about replay value in my case, but I'm using that phrase in this case because it's valid. Like it's valid for what I'm about to talk about. So for my favorite track from Pyromania, I'm going with Stage Fright.
I think mine from Hysteria, should say. I mean, it's got to be Animal. Like I love the music video for it. that we watched together.
Oh, yes, they sacrificed Joe. My
It's like, okay,
love.
what? It's like, why do they have to sacrifice Joe of all people? Like,
My
come on.
love. My love.
Like, you could have gotten, Phil, Colin. You could have gotten him.
Okay. Fuck. Before I start fucking crying over here. Alright, number 2. I have Hysteria.
I have Pyromania.
Wow, so we have the same number 1. That is fucking a rare win right there. We will get to that in a minute. So, I'm going to talk about Hysteria real quick. Album from 1987. Literally their first album to ever get them a number 1 hit single, Love Bites. And that is their only number 1 hit single, surprisingly, as a band. Like, you would think Pour Some Sugar on Me would be their number 1 hit. It only made it to number 2.
It's like, yeah, because like with Hysteria, Animal, Love Bites, and Pour Some Sugar on Me, it's like those, like, out of all those 4 singles, it's like you would think they would all be number 1 hits.
And they weren't. It was only Love Bites. And I like
Which,
Love Bites.
I mean, that's crazy enough as it is. But
Oh man, this album is another one of those perfect from top to bottom albums. Like no skips, no weaklings.
yeah,
Like it's just fucking amazing. And I'm on this little thing now where I'm calling this my Def Leppard summer. I'm listening to Hysteria literally on repeat all summer. I saw somebody on TikTok or something. They're like, this is like a summer where you should listen to Hysteria on repeat or something like that. Or someone told me they were going to do that this summer. I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. That is a very good idea. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. And that's what I've been doing. I've been listening to this one and my number 1 album literally all summer. Like I've been playing a lot of their tracks. So, throwing in a couple from other albums, of course, but those have been like my 2 focused albums this summer. And let me tell you, it is such a good feeling to play Hysteria and my number 1 album, like, throughout the whole summer. And we're not even in summer officially yet, technically. But it's just, I love Hysteria. I always have. I love it so much, I actually bought it. I bought the album. I wanted it so fucking bad in my possession because I never had it as a kid. Now I do. And I'd say my go-to track is the closing track, Love and Affection. Let's hear what you have to say about Pyromania.
Okay, so what hasn't been said about Pyromania? It's like you basically kind of just hit all those points, kind of. But man, it's like it's a freaking album and a half because like I hadn't listened to Pyromania prior to this, so I was kind of going in with like rose tinted glasses, being like, okay, kind of know what to expect because like I heard, I've heard Photograph and what have you. I was like, okay, just getting my bearings together, just like, okay, this is an album that Marissa's been talking about, been hyping up. Let's see what Pyromania brings to the dance, so to speak. They blew my expectations out of the fucking water.
It was literally, I think this was my second Def Leppard album I got as a kid. My first one I got was the one we're going to talk about next.
Mm-hmm.
Pyromania has a very special spot in my heart, just like Hysteria and my number 1. Yeah, it was like one of my first albums that I listened to in full as a kid. So I hadn't heard most of this album since I was a kid. So it was great to revisit it and, get Dystro to listen to it for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite track from that?
From Pyromania. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with Die Hard the Hunter.
Ooh, a deep cut. I like it.
I had heard it like I don't know, like a few days ago or something, and I was like, ooh, I haven't heard this one in a while. I was like, ooh.
That's how I react now. Like when I hear a song from like an album I haven't listened to in a while, I'm like, ooh, I haven't heard this song in a little bit. That happened to me the other day with what the fuck was it? I think it was fucking Billy Talent. Like I heard a Billy Talent song on my playlist that I hadn't heard in a while. Actually, it happened today. I heard 2 songs from Billy Talent 3 that I hadn't heard in forever, and I'm like, ooh, well, I'll take this. All right, number 1. We both put Adrenalize from 1992. Oh my god, that album is the love of my life.
I mean, the one track in particular that we probably both are thinking about is White Lightning.
That's one.
That's one.
That's one.
And then Tonight.
Yes, I love that. Oh my god. So this album came out in 92. We are going to be doing a breakdown episode of this one very soon, actually. Next month, we'll be doing that. I have that scheduled, I think, early on in the month. So I'm very excited to do that. I am going to be digging deep for this one. This one, I am putting my fucking heart and soul into because I found a little hidden, rare interview that Joel Elliott did for this album. I think it was on like a deluxe version or something like that. And someone posted it to YouTube. It's an hour and 2 minutes long. I already listened to it once all the way through, but I'm going to do it again because there's so much info about this album I did not know about. And I want to share it with you guys. And I'm sure Dystro wants to hear about it too. But yeah, this album came out in 1992. There was a lot of hiccups with this album. Mutt Lange kind of scooted off and helped work on Bryan Adams' album at this time, Waking Up the Neighbors, that released in 91. So he didn't really get to work on the album a whole lot, but he did come in for a couple songs and help them out. So this was kind of their first album somewhat without Mutt Lange being there, like for the whole thing.
He was in there for like a cup of coffee, somewhat, but then like he skedaddled.
Yeah, because at this time he was helping out Bryan Adams, which another fucking amazing artist. This was also the first album where Def Leppard worked as a four-piece, and it's the only album they worked as a four-piece because unfortunately they tragically lost Steve Clark back in January of 1991. God bless his soul, by the way. So this album they stuck as a four-piece, and after they released it, they brought in Vivian Campbell, who has worked with a variety of different groups, and I believe he's worked with groups like Whitesnake and Dio and stuff like that. Very good replacement. So they brought him in, and he's been there ever since. So this album, man, I could go on a whole ass spiel about this, but I'm gonna try to limit myself. Number one, my notable track here is Tonight. As y'all may have noticed from our last video we did with Def Leppard stuff, Tonight is my number one song, and forever fucking will be. Number two, White Lightning was actually written kind of like not about Steve, but what he went through. So it's not directly about Steve. And I was listening to Joel Elliott talk about this. Geez, sounds like I was fucking interviewing him. I fucking wish. But anyways, so he was talking about this. He was saying that they didn't write it about Steve directly. They wrote about what he went through. So like anyone can relate to this. Like if you know someone who is a gambler or a drug addict or does alcohol, like anything like that, anybody who's going through something like that, like you can relate to it in your own way. You don't have to relate it to Steve. You can relate it to somebody in your life. So in a way, I'm kind of glad they did it that way. But yeah, and this album is the first Def Leppard album I got as a kid. In terms of studio albums, this is my first one. So this one has always had a very special spot in my heart. I had to actually repurchase this album because my old copy of it got lost somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. Probably never will know. But what matters is I have it now. And this album is my baby. Like it's like up there with like Fly on the Wall for me as to value for me.
That's good.
What about you? Like, what'd you think about this album?
It was very kind of emotional sometimes because when we listened to White Lightning together, I kind of had a presence, kind of like I kind of felt like a presence, like he was there, kind of in a way. Because like one of my friends that passed away like several years ago and stuff like that, like I felt like he was here with me listening to this album, kind of like Steve Clark was there with them in spirit when they were finishing the album, kind of in a way. being like, hey, like, yeah, even though I'm gone, like, you guys are gonna do great things with or without me, but it's like in spirit.
Yeah. So I'm assuming White Lightning's your notable one here.
Hmm.
Yeah. Another good one. I mean, guys are both like his personal property, which,
Yeah,
as if y'all remember, that's the only fucking song we actually agreed on our song rankings,
which is rare.
which is rare. Like that was cool. I'm like, yes. I was so fucking excited because that song gets so much hate. It's like, come on, never mind the cheesy lyrics. Like, it's fucking good. Like, then again, I'm a cheesy person, so. All right, so that's our studio albums. Now, there's two albums that are not studio albums, but technically I listened to both of them in full. Dystro only listened to one of them with me in full. So let's talk about Retroactive real quick, which is the album that came out after Adrenalize in 1993. This is a compilation album of B-sides and unreleased tracks. There's actually different versions of some of these tracks as well on this album. Like Miss You in a Heartbeat has like 2 or 3 different versions of it. Same thing with Two Steps Behind. That's another one that was on there. Um, they did a cover by the band Sweet, and I
Hmm.
believe the song was called Action. And let me tell you, that song is good. They did another song called She's Too Tough. They did Fractured Love. Desert Song is fucking awesome. It's a killer opening track for that album. They ended up remaking one of Joe's first songs he ever did on the Def Leppard EP called Ride Into the Sun. Um, they redid a song called Ring of Fire, which was like a B-side track on Hysteria. They did a lot. They did a lot of B-side stuff on that album, and it was actually really, really good. I actually had mentioned some of the B-side stuff on my top 15 list. That's how good I liked it. I think Dystro even put Fractured Love on his list.
Hmm. I did. Yep.
You did.
Yep. Yep.
All
Yep. Yep.
right, so
Yep.
that's the album that I listened to in full, but Daishu and I listened to some of it together. Like I played a couple tracks for him. That's why he kind of liked Fractured Love. Um,
Hmm.
the next album I'm going to talk about is one that we technically ended our pilgrimage on as a whole. Def Leppard just last month on May 19th released an album called Jurassic Symphonies, where they took a whole bunch of their hit songs and put it behind the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. They put that orchestra behind the songs, redid them, broke them down literally from scratch, and built them up with the orchestra behind it. Fucking beautiful, beautiful album. It's currently sitting at number 1 on the classical charts in the U.S. and I believe in the U.K. I think it made it to number 5 last time I checked. Um, fucking as it should be. It should be like in the top 5 no matter what. It is so good. It was so good it made me and Deja fucking cry.
Yeah. When Love and Hate Collide came on, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that was like
It
me
made
with
me.
like, have you ever needed someone so bad?
Yeah, that was a good one too. Oh man.
Oh man, that album was really good from start to finish, except for one track. There's one track I was not crazy about, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on this. Pour Some Sugar on Me did not need to be there.
Mm-mm. That could have been good without it.
That could have been swapped out with something else.
Because yeah, like we were talking about what could have been switched, and I said, what did I say? I think I said White Lightning.
White Lightning should have been there, or even Tonight,
Yeah, it was one of those that
because
I had said.
they only did one Adrenalize song on that album. I was like, really? Like, and the thing is, it's not even on like the CD version because I have the CD copy. I ended up buying it at Walmart. Literally the next week, I ended up buying it, and it does not have that one. It's only on like the vinyl copy and like the the digitals on your
Mm.
smartphones and stuff. And I believe it's on the international version. So it's like, really, us CD buyers are getting punished. But yeah, a very good album to end our pilgrimage on. And that, my friends, ends our album ranking for Def Leppard. I hope you guys enjoyed. Where would you guys rank these albums? How would you guys rank them? Let us know on social media or in the comments. You know the drill. All right, our next episode, we're going to continue the Def Leppard tree just for a little while longer. we are bringing them in to play in random ranking. Oh boy. I already gave Dystro our 10 songs we're going to be ranking. I think I'm going to announce them now, but I will announce them again when we get to the episode this Sunday. So, let me see here. Where the hell did I put it? I think I fucking lost it. Are you kidding me? I had it on here. I must have didn't save it.
No,
Oh, here it is. Here it is. I got it. All right. So, in no particular order, these are the 10 songs we are contending with. We have Gods of War, She's Too Tough, the revised version. Have You Ever Needed Someone? The Jurassic Symphony's version. God damn. Animal, Kings of the World, the original version from Mirrorball. Rock On, No Matter What, Personal Property, Stand Up, Kick Love into Motion, and Tonight. Yikes. Fucking yikes.
Yeah, because when you sent me that earlier, I was like, oh, fun.
As soon as I saw Tonight and Personal Property in the same list, I'm like, oh no. This is not gonna be good. And then I saw like the one Jurassic Symphony song, I'm like, oh no. So
Well,
those are the 10 songs we're contending with.
Yeah, well, I know the boxing gloves are about to come out that night.
Yeah, definitely. This is gonna be tough. So, if you guys are interested in seeing Random Ranking Def Leppard Edition Episode 1, that'll be this Sunday. I'm actually very excited to bring them into play for this, because there are a lot of Def Leppard songs, and we could be doing this till the cows come home. Alright, Dystro, what is Song of the Night?
Okay, so since we're talking about Def Leppard and all, so I'm probably gonna go with just Personal Property, because that little laugh. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with Personal Property. It's like there's so many damn Def Leppard songs that I could put nitpicked for tonight.
Right.
I'm just gonna be simple, just easy.
Personal Property by Def Leppard from Adrenalize. Oh my god, I love that song. So, if you guys want to hear that, there should be a link that'll pop up at the very end of this episode at the top right hand corner. Go ahead and click on that. It'll take you to the audio. There is no music video for this one, unfortunately. Go take a listen. Please, for the love of God, go take a listen. So, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to go ahead and follow us on social media by clicking on the link in the description below. It'll take you to Linktree. We have Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter. Go follow us on there to keep up to date with the podcast. Dystro's YouTube channel is there as well. He uploads weekly gaming content. We've been playing a lot of games. GTA, Forza Horizon 4, Skate 3, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And how many subscribers are you at?
784.
Wow. Okay. Damn, you're actually moving along. So, our goal is to get him to 800 pretty soon. I'm hoping by the end of this month, because we're already past the middle of June. So hopefully by the end of this month we can get him up to 800. That'd be great. Please give him a subscribe. Go show him some love. Once again, go listen to tonight's Song of the Night, Personal Property by Def Leppard, and that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys this Sunday.
Peace.